You really can't escape it, can you? Everywhere you look, it's AI this, AI that. It's either the single biggest thing that will ever happen to humanity, or it's a total bubble, just this massive balloon of hype and cash getting bigger and just waiting to pop. So, which one is it? Is this a real deal revolution, or are we all just watching a spectacular bubble inflate in real time? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle today, using some great insights from Benedict Evans's report, AI Eats the World. So, let's get into it. To figure out where we're headed with AI, it really helps to look back. Because it turns out tech has this repeating pattern of, well, totally upending everything. And if you understand that pattern, what's happening today starts to make a lot more sense. That pattern is called a platform shift. Think of it like this. Every 10 to 15 years, a new kind of technology comes along that's so fundamental, it completely flips the script. And when it does, all the energy, all the money, all the brand new companies, they all rush over to build on top of this powerful new thing. You've seen this cycle play out your whole life, even if you didn't have a name for it. We went from these giant mainframe computers that filled a room to a personal computer on every desk. Then the web connected all those PCs, and finally, smartphones put the internet in every single pocket. Each shift took about a decade to really change the world. And right now, all signs point to generative AI being the next one. And here's the thing about these shifts. They create a whole new set of winners and losers. I mean, Microsoft absolutely owned the PC era. They were untouchable. But when smartphones came along, they just missed it completely. And suddenly, Apple and Android were the new kings of the hill. It just goes to show you, being on top in one wave guarantees you nothing in the next one. And we tend to have selective memory, right? We remember the winners, but we forget how messy and chaotic these changes really are. For every Google, there's a graveyard of companies that used to be giants. AOL and Yahoo were the internet for most people. Nokia and BlackBerry were the definition of a mobile phone. And now, they're basically footnotes. Every platform shift is just a storm of creative destruction. Okay, so with that history lesson in our back pocket, let's look at what's happening right now. Because this AI gold rush, it's following the old pattern, but it also has a couple of unique twists that are, frankly, kind of wild. First, the pace of change is just insane. With past shifts, you kind of knew it was coming. Your next iPhone would be, maybe 20% faster. With AI, we have absolutely no idea what these models will be able to do in 3 months. It's completely unpredictable. And then there's the cost. It's not just high, it's on another planet. We're talking about building city-sized data centers full of super expensive chips.
Okay, get ready for this number. $400 billion. That's how much 4 companies, just 4, are expected to spend on AI infrastructure in a single year. And let's be clear, that's not money they're making from AI. That's the cost of entry. It's the price you pay just to have a seat at the table. It's completely unprecedented.
So why on earth are they spending this much? Well, this quote from Google CEO Sundar Pichai tells you everything you need to know. For a company like Google, whose entire empire is built on search, AI chatbots are an existential threat. This isn't about profit anymore, it's about pure survival. Not spending money isn't just a bad business decision, it's basically admitting defeat. And Mark Zuckerberg is singing the exact same tune. For these massive tech companies, the fear of getting left behind, the fear of becoming the next Nokia, is way, way bigger than the fear of wasting a few $billions. They are all in, 100%. Because they feel like they have to be. But here's where it gets really weird. Underneath all this frantic spending, there's this strange, almost circular flow of money that's propping the whole thing up. It's kind of like a high-stakes poker game where all the players tacitly agree to keep passing chips to each other so nobody goes bust. So let me break this crazy loop down for you. Step 1. Big companies like Google and Meta spend billions buying specialized chips from NVIDIA. Step 2, NVIDIA, now swimming in cash, turns around and invests a chunk of that money into hot AI startups like OpenAI. Step 3, OpenAI takes that investment and uses it to, you guessed it, buy more chips from NVIDIA. It's this bizarre self-funding hype cycle where everyone is so invested in each other they can't let the system fail. At least, not yet. All right, so that's the view from the stratosphere, this bizarre world of big tech spending. But what about down here on the ground? Where is AI actually working and making a difference for real people today? Well, when you look at who's actually using these tools, it's not even a competition. One name just dominates the whole conversation: ChatGPT. There are tons of different models out there, but OpenAI has captured the brand. It's basically become the Google of AI chatbots. It's the verb, it's what everyone thinks of first. But here's the twist. If you dig into how often people are using it, you find something really surprising. A lot of people are kicking the tires. They'll use it once a month or maybe once a week. But daily use, the kind of habit-forming use that signals a real revolution, it's still less than 10%. And that leads to a really important question. If this technology is so powerful, so game-changing, why isn't it sticky yet? Why aren't we all using it constantly the way we scroll social media or check our email? What gives? I think the best way to understand the state of AI right now is this analogy of infinite interns. Imagine you have an unlimited supply of super enthusiastic, super fast interns. They can write reports, generate ideas, do all sorts of amazing things. But there's a catch. They make stuff up sometimes. They have a pretty high error rate, and you constantly have to double-check their work. And that intern problem explains exactly where AI is getting its first real foothold. It's in professional settings, where you can afford a few mistakes. Things like helping a programmer write code, brainstorming marketing ideas, or handling basic customer support questions. These are all tasks where a human is still in the loop, supervising the intern. But that intern is still giving them a massive productivity boost. Okay, so we've looked at the history, the mind-boggling money, and the real-world use cases. It's time to circle back to our original question and try to land on a verdict. Is this whole AI thing a bubble? To answer that, I want you to think about another technology that everyone thought was a bubble, or at least just for weirdos. Online dating. Back in 1995, only about 2% of couples met online. Fast forward to today, and it's how the majority of people meet. Something that started as a niche, slightly strange idea became a fundamental part of how society works. So here's the final verdict. Is AI a bubble? The answer is yes. The hype is off the charts, the spending is circular, and a ton of the AI companies you hear about today are absolutely going to fail. But just like the dot-com bubble in the 90s, when the financial bubble pops, the technology doesn't just disappear. The underlying platform shift is very, very real, and it is going to change everything. And I want to leave you with one last thing to chew on about what that change might actually look like. Back in the 1950s, there were over 100,000 elevator attendants in the US. It was a normal job. Then automated elevators came along. And that job, it didn't just shrink, it basically vanished. So as AI gets smarter and more capable, the question we all need to start asking is, what are the elevator attendant jobs of today? That's a huge question, and one we'll definitely be talking about more. I really hope you found this breakdown useful. For more simple and clear insights into the tech that's changing our world, make sure you subscribe to Refreshing Tech. Thanks so much for watching.